everybody, it's Stacy Duffy here, your Denver Metro real estate resource. And today I wanted to answer the question of, do I need to fix blank? So when someone calls me to list their home and help them sell, the number one question I usually get is, when should I sell it? Different video, very market dependent. Anyway, right now in Denver, the answer is whenever you want. Please, God, there's nothing to buy. People will claw over each other to buy. But the second most common question I get is, do I need to fix that? Do I need to fix XYZ? Do I need to refinish the floors? Do I need to fix the roof? Do I need to paint this room? Do I need to change out my doorknobs and door hinges? Whatever, right? I will say that usually depends on two things. So one is going to be market conditions. And when I mean market, I mean the general housing market, how quickly things are selling, what's the supply and demand, all that kind of stuff, right? Number two, more supplementary, would be your typical target buyer or your best buyer. So, and I'll explain that here in a minute. So what I mean, obviously a seller's market, right? It doesn't mean your house can look like crap and that you don't have to pick up clothes and that you can shoot pics with your phone. I mean, you can. You're not going to get top dollar if you do that. So, I mean, for example, over the last few listings that I've had, the questions that I've gotten are, should I change out the doorknobs and door hinges to a more updated finish? Okay, so here's where that target buyer piece comes in, right? My tendency is to recommend people do what makes sense to them given their time, their budget, their stress level, big one, for what their goals are. So if your goal is to get every single penny out of that house you possibly can, and you don't have a job and you have all the time in the world and you don't have kids and you're not that stressed and you have a $3,000 budget to update some stuff that you want to get a good return on the money, sure, put in some new light fixtures, do some painting, update some hardware or some faucet fixtures, that kind of stuff. Most people are in the process of, if you're in the process of moving, it's usually pretty stressful. So you've got to find a place to live, or you're already got half your stuff packed, or you can't find anything because everything's everywhere, or you have kids, or your job relocation, whatever. Most people are not in the situation where that makes sense and is going to be a good return on their money in a seller's market, right? However, if your target buyer is someone that wants a move-in ready, completely updated home, then that might be worth your time and your money. So generally in an extreme seller's market like we have right here in Denver, or right now in Denver, I'm going to say, you know what? As much as I want to tell you to help you get every money for your house that you can, I don't think that's going to be worth your time, because I think people are going to give you $20,000 over list price anyway, whether you change that doorknob and door hinges or not. They don't care if they're gold or brass instead of brushed nickel or black or whatever, okay? So that's why it really depends on, time, money available, stress level, and then what's your target buyer. For general cosmetic, minor updates, things like that, I'm usually not going to recommend that unless there is something that doesn't fit with the rest of the home. So my big thing is try to make the home as cohesive as possible, because that's what your target buyer is looking for. So you typically have buyers in different buckets, right? You're going to have a buyer that's looking for the fixer-upper that wants some sweat equity. Fine, leave the nasty carpet. Who cares if you smoked in the house? They're going to want to paint the cabinets and rip out the carpets and do all kinds of stuff anyway. Fine. Then you have your, I'd like a couple of projects, but I generally like, I don't want to have to do any major remodels. Okay, so that's where, let them update the light fixtures or the bathroom countertops or something like that. But they're not going to want to knock down walls and deal with a hoarder house, a smoker's house, major damage to floors, something like that. They're just going to want it's a little dated, but I can update it, right? Then, and there's different ranges in there, of tolerance, but generally that's a typical bucket. That's the bucket where I'm like, guys, don't bother with the hardware, because they're not going to care enough, and that's not going to make a difference in their purchase decision in our current market condition. Then you have your, what I call HGTV buyer, right? They expect everything to be shiny and pretty and new and move-in ready, and they wouldn't know how to use a screwdriver if they watched 10 YouTube tutorials on it. I think people are very capable, but I think people limit themselves and they just don't believe that they can do things that they can because they've never done them before. So those types of buyers are going to love the super shiny, pretty, everything is done, all the light fixtures are done, all the hardware is updated, all the faucets are done, all the floors are done. You know, typical buy your flipped house, buy your completely remodeled house, buy your move-in ready, new build, something like that. If that's the buyer you're looking for, or that most of your house fits that aesthetic, you know, 90% of your house fits that aesthetic, you're probably better off finishing that last 10% because that's shooting too many videos, so my phone keeps stopping. That's the kind of buyer that's going to buy your house, but they won't buy it if those things aren't done. Okay? So that's where that falls. But generally, most people are going to fall in that middle bucket, right? Especially in a seller's market. So I've had sellers that have asked me, hey, you know, there's that giant window that's special order, that's got a crack in it. It doesn't leak. There's no problem. It's just not pretty and there's blinds on it. You don't see it anyway. Should I spend $1,500 to replace it? Normally, I'd say you want to present your home in the best possible light. Right now, buyers are probably not going to ask for stuff on the inspection because they had to compete against 20 other people to get the house and they don't want to lose it. So is that going to make a difference? Probably not. Don't spend the time, don't spend the money, don't worry about the stress. Just get it on, list it, and as long as the home is generally clean and presents well and priced appropriately, it'll probably sell. It's not worth it. So as I mentioned, all of that is very, very market condition dependent. So I am talking now, last week of March in 2021 in Denver. If you are in the middle of Kansas 3 years from now and the market conditions suck in, you know, a week before Christmas because it's snowing, I don't know, not my market. I'm just saying that's kind of where we're at right now. So those are the recommendations I'm making. But the other thing as far as the fix versus don't fix is, if you made it this far, is things that you're going to have to deal with anyway, no matter who your buyer is, just go ahead and get it done. Major issues. So your water heater doesn't work. That's a problem. The air conditioner is broken. That's a problem. Your major mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems, all those need to function properly unless you want to put yourself in that fixer-upper bucket for an investor, for someone that's looking to do a flip, for someone that's looking to do a lot of sweat equity. Okay? So things like that, go ahead and just take care of, especially if you know they're an issue. Things need to work. Just like buying a used car, I related to that a lot of the time. If you're going to buy a used car, the tires don't have to be new. Tires are a wear item. They're expected to be replaced on a regular frequency, just like a furnace. But they need to work. You can't, I mean, they can't be bald. They need, you know, someone needs to be able to drive the car from point A to point B, but it doesn't have to be a brand new car with brand new air conditioner and brand new tires and everything else. Things need to work. Things need to function. And things that can cause damage to the home or be safety issues or extreme expense items. When I say extreme expense, it's really market and price dependent, but I'd say generally $5,000 or more to fix. Go ahead and take care of those or be prepared to give a concession for them. So I'll do another video on that in a little bit more detail with some examples. I think that might make more sense for people, but hopefully that was helpful for y'all. Like I said, that's one of the biggest questions is, do I need to fix that? Sometimes yes, but most of the time in our market, if it's not that pretty and it's not affecting the functionality of the home in its extreme seller's market, probably not. So anyway, thanks so much for the time. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to reach out to me about buying or selling a home here in the Denver metro area, I'd be happy to help. My contact information is on my website. Link for that is down below. If you're looking to do that in another area, in another state, and you're not in Denver, and you want me to screen some realtors for you and make some referral or recommendations for someone that's a good fit for you, I'm happy to do that. You can reach out to me directly down below as well. And yeah, thanks so much for the time, and have a great day.